All right, okay, we're moving on to worksheet number 3. So that's going to deal with still two terms, but now we're going to talk about sum of cubes and difference of cubes. So with cubes, you can have both adding or subtracting. I highly suggest, just like what we had over here, I really suggest going all the way at least down to 20 for your squares. I highly suggest making a list of your cubes. So like 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is 8, okay, 3 cubed, 27, 4 cubed, 64, 5 cubed, 125, 6 cubed, 216, because these are a little more unfamiliar to us. 7 cubed is going to be 343, 8 cubed is going to be 512, 9 cubed, 729, and then 10 cubed, 1000. Chances are we probably won't use much more than that list, so at least you have that there ready to go, because we don't know our cubes as well as we know our squares. So if I say, is 27 a cube, you can just look over at your list and say, yep, it is. It's 3 cubed. Okay, so sum of cubes and difference of cubes. Sum of cubes, if there's a plus sign in between the two numbers, your signs go plus, minus, plus. Okay, now you will have this note sheet all the time, so you actually don't have to remember that. If there's a minus sign, it goes minus, plus, plus. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, is x to the third a cube? Yes, it is. What number times itself 3 times gives me x to the third? X. Okay, so we're going to figure out this one first. Now we have to ask ourselves, is 8 a cube? Look back at our list. Oh, yep, 8 is a cube. It's 2 to the third. So what times itself 3 times gives you 8? That is 2. Okay, after you have these two figured out, that will determine the second part. This number here is your first number squared. So x times x, which is going to give you x squared. Okay? This second term is your first number times your second number. So 2 times the x. You might want to write little notes for yourself. So first number times second number, so 2x. And your last number is this last number squared. So 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay? Write notes above it. You probably can't see what I wrote. But I would definitely write first times second here. First times second, and then I would write second squared. Okay? Now remember, the signs in here always stay the same. If it's plus, it goes plus, minus, plus. Okay? Same idea for difference of cubes. All that changes is your signs change, okay? But you will have this sheet in front of you, so you should be able to do it. Is x cubed a cube? You betcha. X times x gives me x cubed. What's my cube for 27? Look back at your list. Oh, it's 3. Remember, this first term is this one squared, so x times x, which is x squared. Middle term is this one times this one. Don't worry about the sign. Don't even think about the sign. Just do x times 3, which is 3x. And then this last term here is this one squared, so 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, so that should help you get started with difference in sum of cubes. Now remember, you still have to do step 1 before you can go down to step 2. So you still have to check for the greatest common factor. Then if there's 2 terms, it could still be a difference of squares on this worksheet because we're still building on everything we've already learned. Or it could be a sum of cubes or difference of cubes. So let's take a look at worksheet number 3. Okay. Let's go down to number 4 because number 1 is exactly the same as the one we just did. Let's see here. Let's see if I can focus in a little bit. That's as good as it's going to get, I guess. Okay, so we have 3x to the 4th minus 81x. So remember, step 1 says you check for a greatest common factor. Is there a greatest common factor between 3 and 81? Yes, I can take out a 3. Is there any variables that they both have in common? Yes, an x. So I'm going to take out a 3x. Now, if I divided the 3 out of there, there's no number left. There's just a 1 there. You could put 1, but you do not have to. Now, I had 4 x's. I took 1 out. That's x to the third. 81 divided by 3. That gives you 27. And I already took out the x. Now it's down to 2 terms. Now, when we have 2 terms, go back and look at your note sheet. 2 terms, so I have to have difference of squares, sum of cubes, or difference of cubes. I have to check for all 3 of those. Well, x cubed is a cube, so we know it's cube. Oh, it's a difference of cubes. So go back to your note sheet again, difference of cubes. We go minus, plus, plus. So we have a small parenthesis and a big parenthesis. We go minus, plus, plus. Now we're just going to fill in the blanks. This 3x just goes along for the ride. He's kind of like a third wheel. What times itself 3 times gives you x to the third? That's x. What times itself 3 times gives you 27? That's 3. Remember, this first term is this times itself, so x times itself, so x squared. Middle term, the 3 times the x, 3x. Last term, 3 times the 3, which is 9. That gives you the answer for that one. Let's try another one. Let's do number 8. Okay, remember I told you last time you want that first term to be positive, so I know I need to take out a negative. What else do they both have in common? I see that I can take out a negative 3x squared, because that's my greatest common factor. Always take that out first. That means that I'm left with x to the third. Now, if I took out a negative, that means it's a positive, and I'm left with 1,000. Now it's 2 terms. Are those cubes? Are they squares? Or are they neither? This is a cube, and that's a cube. Can I have sum of cubes? I sure can. That's what we just learned today. Okay, so small parenthesis, big parenthesis. If it's a sum of cubes, look back at your note sheet. It goes plus, minus, plus. Okay? I don't expect you to memorize that. What times itself 3 times gives you x to the third? X. What times itself 3 times gives you 1,000? 10. Sorry, I gave you the answer. Remember, this term is this first one squared, so x times x, which is x squared. Now that middle term, 10 times the x, 10x. Last term, 10 times the 10, which is 100. That gives you the answer. Please let me know if you have questions and if you want me to walk you through some more of these questions. We would end up probably doing about 15 of these together in class if we were in class together, and then I would expect you to do the other 15. But I am giving you all the answers again, so make sure you do all 30 questions, then check your answers, and then you can do the quizzes that corresponds to worksheet number 3.